You're watching The Globe. The Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana says that whilst it's important to outline the challenges that South Africa is facing, outlining what the country is doing to address them is more important. He was speaking in his message to the World Economic Forum in Davos in Switzerland. Godongwana has embarked on meetings and bilateral engagements with global leaders in government, business and civil society. He says that dealing with red tape, collaborating with business to address energy issues are just some of government's focus areas.
To deal with red tape, there are things we need to change. So we are engaged in these issues. I know that some work is being done by business formulating a strategy to work with us on the energy space. I've referred to the electricity challenge, which is confronting us, and some work is being done to deal with those issues. What I would urge is that we tend to talk social compacting in South Africa and develop an agenda, which is law. Whereas social compacting does not mean you've got to agree on a broad packages. There could be one or two things which we agree that these issues are a priority, we need to work together.
Well, for a little bit more on this, we're now joined via Zoom from Davos in Switzerland by Maserame Mouyeme, who is the Director of Public Affairs and Sustainability at Old Mutual. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. I am pretty sure it's fairly cold where you are right now.
Peter, it's very, very cold, and to be here after the heat in South Africa, and having to be covered and, in layers and layers of clothes and snow, it's a shock to our bodies.
All right. So the president was hoping to have been there, but he stayed behind to address the energy situation. But there is a delegation of South African public and private sector there. Why is it important for the private sector, such as you, to be at Davos as part of this grouping?
Peter, as the minister said, it is important for business, government and civil society to work together to find ways to create an environment where external investors can see South Africa as open for business. And we have proven examples of government working with business and civil society to really address difficult challenges that South Africa has experienced. And an example of that, a very good one at that is COVID. When the pandemic hit, we had everybody rallying around to find solutions. And I think the country is better off because of those relationships that were created at that time. And I think moving forward, it remains an opportunity for different parties in South Africa, including government, including civil society and business, to work together.
I know it's early days and you'll have a lot of engagements with people there, but do you have a sense of what people in other parts of the world are going to be asking you as they engage with the South African team?
Yes, Peter, we all know that to do business, we need an infrastructure that works. We will get questions about energy because business needs energy to run, but also the customers that we serve as business need energy. So it will come, and the minister has said that, this is work in progress, and it involves government, it involves business working together. And I think it's probably right now the most important issue that the country is dealing with.
You're a partner with the Africa Collective. Tell us about this initiative, because it sounds as if you're trying to create a vehicle for the continent to have a voice there.
Yeah, that's a very good point you're making about Africa Collective. It is an initiative that some business leaders across the continent have put together, and there will be a session on Thursday where we will be talking with various interested and potential investors about what it means doing business in South Africa. But South Africa on its own is not the main driver. There are other countries who will participate. And again, it will be some government representatives from those countries, as well as business. And the purpose is similar to what I said earlier, for us to get external investors to see the progress that the continent is making. Yes, we do have challenges, we admit that, but the continent is one of the few that remain with lots and lots of potential. We have a population that is very young. We have resources, natural resources in the country, and we have really good skills that we've built over time. We think that together as a continent and together with the various business partners that are Pan-African businesses and also businesses that have been able to get into innovation, with different partnerships, we will be able to give a very good case that would demonstrate that, yes, the country is open for business.
Do you get a sense that the continent, when it gets to these global settings, does speak with one voice? Or, we've got these issues with our historical colonizers and languages and so on and so forth. But when we're there, do you get a sense that we speak with one voice representing the whole continent?
I don't think there would be one voice representing the continent. There will be a lot of different voices with the same purpose, and that purpose is to let investors see what is being done in various parts of the continent. So, for example, when you look at Kenya and the rest of East Africa, they're becoming a hub for technological innovations. When you look at Nigeria is becoming a strong hub for startups. When you look at South Africa has got industries that are well set, that are legacy industries with a lot of experience that if we work together, we can really position ourselves as a continent that's ready to work with investors from different parts of the world. It's not one voice, but it's a whole contingent of offerings that we have that would prove to those investors that we do want to grow, and we may not have one voice, but growth, economic growth, is what we are all striving for.
All right. I suppose the president is going to be missed, because to have an ambassador like that on a delegation like this is important. Absolutely,
but the president has other priorities that he's focusing on in South Africa. However, we do have other ministers. The Minister of Finance is here. Minister Pando is here. Minister Kubai is here. So we do have really good representation as South Africa.
All right. Apart from the Africa Collective, what else is on the agenda for the duration of Davos WEF?
The opportunity for us as Old Mutual, and I can only talk about what Old Mutual is looking forward to, is to learn, from companies that are putting mitigation strategies against climate change. Climate change impacts our business. Climate change impacts our customers. It is one of the most important things that we're having to deal with as a business. So getting different points of views from the different delegates, being able to walk away with best practice is something that we're looking forward to observing from the different panels, but also learning and bringing that learning to South Africa with us, but also to our other countries where we operate as Old Mutual.
All right, and I suppose this is the first real big post-COVID gathering, so there's almost a reconnecting that South African business and public sector is doing with the rest of the world.
Look, last year in May, we came still as South Africa Incorporated with government and other businesses. And we did, start the discussions around working together as a collective. And we believe that, yes, COVID is gone, but there's even more urgency for us as a country to push through our economy. We do have challenges. We have talked about them over and over again in different forums, but being here, as I said again, to say to investors, we are open for business. We would like you to consider us as you make investments in different continents, but specifically for South Africa, we want to make sure that we balance the negativity that sometimes we focus on as South Africans with best practice, and a lot of great work has happened in the country, but we don't talk about that as much as we should, and this is the platform to do that.
Talking about this platform, you've already alluded to the fact that we already had a presence last year. Do investors actually commit to anything at places like this, or is it more about establishing contacts and then you follow up later? Some people have almost looked at this as a social event, but I'm suspecting that you try hard for it not to just be that.
It is definitely not a social a social event. This is about us meeting partners that have common purpose with us. And there's always follow-ups from this meeting. Yes, last year we did have connections and networked. This year is, again, post-COVID and on a larger scale, doing the same, but being purposeful around what we want to take away as Team South Africa. But for Old Mutual, for example, there's a lot of progress and evolving changes on climate change and other areas of business that pertain to us. We want to take off those learnings, get home, and be able to apply what we can apply and continue with the partnerships that we're creating here. There is definitely a benefit to being here at this time in a world that is facing a lot of challenges. And Africa and South Africa are not the only continent and country that are facing issues. There are issues across the world. I guess what is important here is what we do about what we know we can fix and work together as a continent to really, really drive economic growth, which our young population can benefit from.
All right, and that's where we'll leave it. We wish you the best of luck in your endeavours and bring home lots of goodies for us.
Thank you, Pierre. Nice talking to you.
Thank you. Lovely chatting. All right, that's that was Maserame Mouyeme, who's the Director of Public Affairs and Sustainability at Old Mutual, with a team that's gone to Davos in Switzerland at WEF to represent our interests and bring back some investments. We keep our fingers crossed.